Hello, everyone. I'm Rachel Tessman from StampYourArtOut.com. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Andover, Minnesota in the US, and I'm here to bring you a live paper crafting class. Someone asked in the comments before we started the live if I'm feeling better, and I am. Thank you for giving me grace to take off on Friday. I just have a little congestion, but it's not much, and I'm feeling great, and we are raring to go. So welcome, welcome. A big hello to all of you who return and continue to come back to my lives. I do lives on Wednesdays at 11 a.m. Central Time and on Friday evenings. Right now, that's the plan. Coming around the holidays, we're going to have some shifting, but then we'll come back to that Wednesday and Friday. All right. Yeah, I'm wearing the pink today. This is Dolce and Dolce. Let me look in the details of the video. Dolce and Dolce by Belle Tress in the color rose gold. And I'm wearing it today, excuse me, because we're doing some pink in the cards, and I thought, well, why not coordinate that way? So also a big welcome to all of you who are new to my channel. I hope that you enjoy what you watch and you continue to tune in. We do paper crafting and we have so much fun together. And then I want to say hello to Trisha. Trisha, thank you for continuing to come back on my Wednesday live. She's here to answer questions. She's my moderator. So if you see Trisha Joseph's name with a little wrench symbol next to it, it's she's here to answer questions and to help guide us. So yay. All right. And I love hearing about the weather. Somebody was saying 73. I can't remember your name now, but I'm like, oh my gosh, we're all jealous of her. So although I am enjoying anytime, I love the seasons. So when we have snow outside my window and the sun is shining, it's great. So yeah. All right. I'm going to first bring you down to the desktop and show you the bundle that we are going to feature today. Actually, this is not part of the bundle. Sorry, this is the bundle. It's the Sweet Jar bundle, and it includes a punch and a stamp set. Bundles in Stampin' Up! Language are typically like a stamp set and a die set. We can also bundle other products, but typically when you hear bundles, you think of stamps and dies, but this is a stamp and punch bundle. And this came out, oh gosh, I want to say with the annual catalog or around that time. And such cute projects have been made with this. This is not one that I've featured in any of my lives yet, and I've held on to it, and I just keep, oh my gosh, you guys, I have to get a little sip here. Excuse me. See, just a little congestion. Okay, so this is one that I haven't featured yet, and I've been meaning to. And I finally said, you know what, this is perfect for the doilies. We have some new doilies. Let me find those. These are the doilies. They come in Bubble Bath and Real Red. And then if you flip them over, you actually have a third color. Okay, so ta-da, white. So you have like 3 colors in that pack. There's large and small ones. And I thought it'd be fun to do something Valentine-y. I know that we're coming up on Christmas, but we are card makers, paper crafters, scrapbookers, and we typically think ahead in the holidays, right? Another product that I'm going to feature today is the True Blue Florals designer paper, which I've been loving. Oh my goodness sakes, you guys. Wowza. It's funny. You think you're good to go. You hit the live button and then boom, all of these things start happening. But there's got to be a mistake in every live video, right? Okay, so these are the papers. In this pack, you get 2 of 6 different double-sided papers, just like most of our Stampin' Up! Papers. And so here's one side. This one, obviously, I've used up. And this is only half the pack because you get 2 of each of these, right? And then the other side, I'm going to be coughing throughout the whole entire video, you guys. This is crazy. The other side looks like this, and it looks like I have a little ink spot up there. But here we have those patterns. I'm going to pull these 2 out for my second card because we're doing 2 cards today. So I'm just going to set those over here separately because we're going to need to cut into them. And I've already cut the other pieces for the base parts of our card. I'm going to set the doilies off to the side. We will use the Real Red small doily for the first one, and then we're going to use a Bubble Bath pink one, half of it, for the second card, and I've already got that one set to go. All right. I think we're clear. I think we're ready to roll. It's just so crazy. I'm going to show you the PDF that goes with this. That could be another thing that could, hang on, I got to connect my computer to this. Another thing that it could be is that I just don't talk to anybody on Wednesday mornings because my husband goes off downtown to work. And then, where is that video? Come on, connect for me. Oh my gosh, seriously, are we not going to have the ability to see my computer. Oh, I know what I have to do. It's so funny because I was ready like a half hour before I was even commenting in the lives. Here it is. Here it is. Yay! Okay, this is the PDF. And the PDF is connected to my blog post, which you can already access in on my blog. It's live already. So go to my website at stampyourartout.com and you'll be able to see the first blog post that will come up. It will be this project. And this is what we're doing today. So if any of you saw the blog post first and you've joined us on the live, welcome. You can see photos of the finished cards, the outside, and then this is one picture of the inside of both. You can see a list of clickable supplies. This is so that you can easily shop from the PDF if you keep it downloaded into your computer. And then we have measurements for each card, the basic measurements. The date is at the top, and then you can see the blue lettering up there. That means that I've linked the blog post to this PDF so that if you're printing or you're downloading the PDF, you can click on that and it'll take you directly to the blog post, which will have this video embedded in it. All right, so yay. All right, now we're ready to head back to the desktop and we're gonna start creating. So sorry about all the coughing again. Okay, so let's pull out, this here too, I brought this out earlier. This is because this is another stamp set that Stampin' Up! Debuted a few months later called Jar of Joy, and it also coordinates with the same jar punch. So you can see the cute images. You can also see that I've transferred stamp sets into the new packaging. I'm going to be doing photos or video or something to show you how I'm organizing my new stamps or my new packaging for older stamps and stuff like that. But right now, you just know that it's doable, okay? All right, so let's take our stamp set and our inks and our papers. Oh, and we're also gonna feature the silver foil paper because it's just an amazing addition to lots of cards and projects. Okay, so here's the finished card. And finished one of two cards because I have another one. And this is the way it opens. And you can see there's a sliding pocket, a slide out pocket fun fold card, okay, hence the name. I've shared this style of card before. In fact, remember when we were making cards similar to this with this same cut here? And this was not a pocket portion, this was just flat. But I altered this one, which I've shared with you before, into a slide out pocket fun fold too. It's pretty easy to just add this extra little piece in here. So if you have a card that's already cut to this type of dimension, and you can easily adapt the bottom portion into a pocket by gluing on an extra little piece, you can then add this and you can create a pocket fun fold card. So I'm going to show you how easy it is to do that version. The reason why we are sharing this pocket fun fold or this slide out, I'm going to call it slide out fun fold card, is because I received a card from, and I'm make sure I say the name right, Joanne Ryder. And this was shared in one of my show and shares. Thank you, Joanne, for this card. You inspired one of my viewers to reach out to me and say, hey, can you demonstrate that? So we're going to demonstrate this, which is basically the same thing, only with different measurements, okay? And with this type of card, you can see this does not have a pocket, but we'll get to that one in just a minute. So let's pull out the supplies that we need for this first one, and we get my stamps ready. So we're going to need the stamp that fills the bottom of the jar. And in this stamp set, you can see that there's that plus jelly beans plus hearts plus clovers. And so you can actually use this base with all of them and it becomes a nice layering piece. So we're going to put that one down. We're also going to need the jar. And be careful when you're pulling them off. You don't want to pull too hard, especially in the beginning. Let them relax upside down on your table so that the stamp image is going down. The flat portion is up. We're going to be using this one and the love and the hearts. So we're just going to pull them all off. Let them relax. They're photopolymer, so they're a little stretchier kind of rubber, right? And this is the scrap white that we're going to use for stamping them. So now I'm going to take my blocks and I'm going to pick up a stamp at a time. And we'll just prepare those on our blocks. We'll get this one ready on this one. And I just pick them up at an angle because I don't want to rely on the edges of my blocks when I'm stamping. And the last one, And my blocks are a little dirty. Sorry about that. Okay, so let's stamp our jar, and we'll stamp it a few times because we're gonna use this multiple times. 1, isn't that cool? It makes a jar. 2, I love it, and it's so squatty and cute. 3, okay, next we'll close this up and we will stamp our, we're gonna stamp the base hearts, and we're gonna do those in, let's do them in Bubble Bath first because we're gonna need one for the other card, and we might as well start with the light color first. So when you're stamping a two-step stamp set, which is what this is, because these are going to layer over each other, it's nice to have the Stampin' Pierce mat underneath. The Stampin' Pierce mat will allow you to have that cushion that cling stamps, all those rubber stamps usually have, because they typically have like foam, right? This acts as that extra foam to help give it a firm surface. I'm going to grab a different scrap here too, because we're going to take and stamp off, and this way we can keep our table surface underneath for the video cleaner. Okay, so I've inked up my stamp. I've pounds to get the ink on there. This is going to be a very, very light color. Okay, so it's a really cute jar shape. So we're going to stamp off, and because it's a light color, I'm stamping off quickly because I don't want the ink to soak much into my scrap paper. We're still going to get a very, very light second version of it, or second generation. You might have heard that before, second generation inking. It's going to be lighter than like when we do red. Okay, so I'll show you red. But this is the Bubble Bath pink. Then we'll take and ink up our hearts. And this time we won't stamp off. Oh, it's still blurry, isn't it? Why is it still blurry? Okay, let's try that again. Let's zoom in. I don't know what was happening there. Sorry about that, you guys. Okay, so we'll ink, and then we'll hover over the top. And you can see, I'm going to point with my take your pick tool. You can see this is going to line up with the bottom of the jar here. And this is going to line up with the bottom of the jar here. So this is like the corner. This is like another corner. So when you're lining up the hearts, look at those areas. That will give you the best guidance to getting them in the right spot. So now that I've set those corners down there, I can press and lift, and you can see the overlapping looking heart imagery. Let's do that with the red. Close that up. If you're new to Stampin' Up, our pads are kind of like compacts. You just lift, and then you can bring it all the way back like this and slide it into the base. Okay, so because we're using a darker ink next, all I have to do is just kind of like press that lighter color off to get it clean because we're going quick. Okay, now we've got the real red color. You want to make sure it's inked up all the way. And we're going to stamp that off. And then we're going to come over, and notice I kind of let that press down longer. We're going to press into our jar and lift off. So still lighter color, but it's still pretty deep, right? And then we're going to do the same thing with this, where we do not stamp off. We're going to look at the bottom corner hearts. I'm sorry, my ink pad needs more re-inking, I think. So I'm moving around in different spots to get it to be more even color. Let's just do that, shall we? Let's re-ink it. I'm going to grab my real red. That is now in the Regals, isn't it? There it is. Is this real red? It is. And you can use like a plastic spoon or the back of a butter knife or something where you're not scraping your pad. I believe I have a little tool that came with my white ink. Here it is. It's really roughed up. I need to get a better one, but you could use like a credit card or something. You're just going to take your re-inker and you're going to drop a few drops into the surface. With the firm foam pads, they don't soak in right away. In fact, you want to move them around. Okay, so you're going to move. Going to scrape that ink to even it out. And then all you have to do is just clean this off. I'm going to set that aside. I'll clean it off later. Now let's try. Ink. All right. Well, it's a little better. I probably should have spent more time on it. But we're going to stamp it down using those corners as guides again. and press. If you have an ink pad that doesn't have a lot of color left in it and you don't have a re-inker, just press longer. Sometimes that helps. Helps to transfer that ink. Oh, look at that beautiful jar of red hearts. Okay, we're gonna close that up for now. We'll come back to that color because we'll need it in a minute. And I'm gonna set aside all of these stamps. Okay, we're ready to punch. We're gonna take the punch and we're gonna flip it over. This is the unlock part. You're just gonna unlock it, line it up so that you see even amounts of white all the way around the outside edges of your jar. Sorry, still checking. Have to angle it towards my face first. There we go. And if you stamp it on a thin strip like this, you don't have to worry about too much waste up there. I probably could have stamped it a little higher to not waste the top, but it's a tiny little jar topper piece. It's not going to waste too much of your cardstock. We'll punch this one out. And we've got an empty jar. And that one we will use on our second card. Okay, we still need this scrap, I think. Trying to remember. But here, we're going to set these two aside for our second card. And we've now got that piece in place. We're going to punch from this one with our Bee Builder punch. So again, unlock. And we're going to punch out a silver heart, a tiny little silver heart, another little tiny silver heart. And you can see how I'm making the most of the paper by punching on the same side and not trying to punch out of one big piece because I don't need the bee body. I only used up this small portion and I got 1, 2, 3 hearts out of there. So try to be wise when you punch. We also need the top of the jar, so we're going to punch that out. And we're going to need a few of these. I'll go ahead and turn it this way. Punch out another top of the jar. In fact, I think I need 3. And then we'll need a couple more of these smaller hearts. We'll go in this corner. Because we love our silver foil, and we want to be able to come back and use that. So perfect, perfect, perfect. I'm going to grab these, set them aside. We'll put that aside, and we're going to bring in our main card pieces. I think, oh, we need to stamp one more piece. So in the directions, I do say that you're going to need a 1/2 inch, which is how high this is, by 3/4 of an inch. But you can like estimate how long it is, or if you were using a different sentiment from the stamp set, you could, make it longer, shorter, wider, taller, whatever. We're going to ink up, we're going to ink up the word love. We're going to stamp that down on this white tiny scrap. And we're going to cut that out. We have one more stamp to do, and that is this one here. And it's going to say sending a little, and then obviously love is next to it. So for that, we're going to stamp that on a pocket. Now I'm going to give you a couple choices here. If you don't want to do pocket for your card, you do not have to make it as long, okay? For the length, you receive a pocket that slides in and out. If you want it to just be a message that slides in and out, or you want to like adhere your gift card to it with like adhesive or something, you don't have to worry about using as much of a length, but the length gives it a pocket. And you don't even have to glue this down. Like you can just take and fold this, and because of the way the card is, it'll stay in a pocket shape. So we're going to stamp on the top of this little pocket piece here with that sentiment. So we have one more stamping step to do here, sending a little, and we're going to stamp that right at the very top. I'm going to put this over something dark so I can see better. And we're going to stamp that right at the very top, centered. Okay, sending a little. Now we're ready to assemble. Yay. All right, for our card base piece, you're going to take, and we're going to zoom out a bit here. You're going to take a 1/2 sheet of cardstock. So this is 11 inches by 4 1/4 inches wide. And instead of scoring it in half to make a card, you're going to score it in a couple different spots. You're going to score it first at 1 1/2 inches. And then I would just lightly score it again. And that, let me tell you the measurement correctly here. And that measurement is at 7 inches. Okay, so 1.5 and then 7 inches. And I would just lightly score it here. And the reason why I say lightly is because you don't want a gap. You don't want a gap between the two, and you don't want it to be too far over. But if you lightly score it, you can take your second one and fold it over like this. You can even do it without scoring. But if you move out of the way, everything else, then you can take and press down to create your second firm fold that is in line with the gap here, okay? So we're gonna press that down. Now the one thing that is like not so fun about a card that's a pocket card is that this sometimes can gap out more because you're putting a pocket or you're putting things in the pocket. So we're gonna control that by having an extra little strip. So if you're not too worried about how big that gap might be, or you're pretty precise trimmer or score or whatever, go ahead and just score both with the scoring blade, fold it down. If you have a slight overlap, it's probably gonna be fine, but here we go. So your first piece, and I think I already have that one adhere with adhesive on the back side. I do. Okay, so your first piece, pattern number 1, is gonna go at the top portion of this card. Oh dear, we're just gonna put it down. You know what? I wonder if that's why I pulled this off. We'll use it anyways. No, I'm gonna get a new one, because do you guys see what happened here? I don't know what happened. We're getting a new one. I thought I could use it again, but obviously not. Here's my full paper. Just trying to be efficient. Okay, so I want to cut 4 inches wide. And because I want this to kind of be centered here, so I'm going to move this over a little bit more. And I'm going to cut around, yep, right around here. So that's 4 1/4. Because what I'm getting here, you see how this pattern is like that? Let's cut it in this direction at 3 3/4. So I want this same amount on this side. So if we cut off 1/4 inch over there, it's gonna look more balanced. Oh, see, beauteous. Okay, yeah, I'm not using that other piece. That other piece got scuffed up somehow. Okay, so this is pattern number 1. We're gonna put that over on the back table. Okay, let's go ahead and adhere this with our seal adhesive, or you could use multi-purpose liquid glue. Let's do that. Rachel forgets to use this, but it's a great, inexpensive adhesive. It can get messy if you're not careful, but just to really fine, thin lines, leave yourself a little bit of room so that you can pick it up. Make sure your flowers are going upwards, and on this card, this would be the up direction, and you're just going to go ahead and add that to the front of your card like this, and see how it just slid. That's the advantage to using glue, is you can slide it into place. All right, next we're going to add this second pattern. The second pattern I have cut to also 4 inches wide, but this one's just a little bit longer. You can see it's 1/8 inch longer, so it's 3 7/8. And then this piece is 1 3/8 inches tall, because we're not going to leave a white gap at the top. We're going to bring this all the way to the edge. All right, so let's add that. I capped it. Sorry about that. Are all of you ready for the holidays? What day is it again? I don't even know if I said that at the beginning of my video. It's December 17th, 2025. Crazy how fast the year has flown by. I think when you're an adult, time just flies, right? For kids, it seems to go on forever and ever and ever. Okay, so there is that. I'm making sure that I'm right up at the top. And then the inside piece is not going to be put on yet, because we need to create a little silver border. And that's what I was mentioning before, that if you have this silver border, you don't have to worry about having that exact connection. So we're going to cut this to 4 1/4 inches. We'll do a couple of those. Actually, I think this other one we're going to need longer. So I'll have to pull that from my silver scraps for the other card. Okay, keep hitting my light over there. Sorry if there's light changes. So this one here, when we add this, I don't want to use glue because this is kind of a coated, shiny surface. Instead, I'm going to use my tear and tape. When you are a card maker, you should have a plethora of adhesives on hand that you can use for different types of paper, different types of embellishments, right? So I do tend to list all my tools and all my adhesives in my supply list for my cards. So hopefully that helps any of you who are beginners. Sorry. And if you don't have the fingernails to, release that paper that's on top here, you can use like a scissors or the take your pick tool. We're going to let that sit flat and we're going to connect in this way. So I'm first connecting my upper left corner and my upper right corner. So I see about 1/8 of an inch of silver along there, okay? I think I cut it a little short, but that's okay. This is just the how-to video. Now we have the ability to center this on here with a white gap all the way around, as you can see against the dark paper. See that? And again, ignore that. We're going fast. We have 2 cards to make. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and add this with glue because we are not adhering this against the shiny silver side. I know some of you, okay, so this is up, this is down, right? So we wanna make sure it's going up. I know some of you might use it with foil, but I choose not to because I don't want my adhesive to slip around too much when I'm adhering it. And the shinier the surface, the more it tends to slip. Okay, so there's that. Now that we have our paper layers on, this is when we can add our inside pocket piece, whether it's going to be just a kind of a sliding announcement or whether it's going to be the pocket. And we're going to make the pocket, right? For this card, the pocket will work great. So we're going to add some adhesive here, and we want some strong adhesive. You could use the glue, the seal, or because it's the perfect size for tear and tape, we'll add the tear and tape. And this piece is cut to 3 1/4 inches. I don't think I gave you the measurement for that one. I'm sorry. 3 1/4 by 6 1/2. And it's scored at 3/8 of an inch and at 5 1/4 inches. And boy, I'm really making little marks all over my stuff today. I'm going too fast. Go slow when you create yours. All right, so we have that, and it's already scored back the way it needs to go, right? It's gonna tip backwards. We're gonna flatten it out though, and we're gonna put it right into the crease of the card. And we're making sure that these 2 edges here are parallel to the outside edges of our card. And we're shoved up right into that crease. Now we're gonna press this down and grab it. And see, now you've got that little pulling mechanism. Now you could make this wider or narrower, but just know that if you go wider, you're gonna have, it's gonna slide up further, okay? If you go narrower, it's not gonna slide up as much. This to me is the right amount of slide. I think what will happen is, yeah, it will. So it will go 3/4 of an inch. And the reason why I know that is because 3/8 plus 3/8 is 3/4. And so you're moving from this spot, this edge here was really here, this crease was, and it went from here all the way up to here. So we have the ability to expose 3/4 of an inch and see how much slid out? 3/4 of an inch. So if you're gonna make this a 1/2 inch score, it's gonna slide out a whole inch. If you're gonna make it a quarter, you know what I mean? You just double what you're gonna have there, okay? Who's making Christmas cookies? Oh, Christmas cards, first batch, Shelly, way to go. All right, so now we have that little peeking phrase there. For the sides here, you could do tear and tape, you could do glue. I'm just gonna choose to do a little line of glue on either side. And we're just gonna press that and hold it in place. And now we're gonna pull in all those little fun pieces. Our jar, our hearts, our love, and we have a lid somewhere too. I'll find it. There it is. Okay. And then we need a doily. Okay, so we're holding that down, keeping it nice and firm, making sure that this paper doesn't get glued because that one needs to slide. The next thing that we can glue down is this, and I'm going to use seal. It's a new seal. Let's get that moving right. Hang on. I just put the cartridge in. There we go. Okay, so we have tape on the back side. That's going to get stuck down in this corner. And I'm keeping the card closed when I'm putting it on because remember there's this extra 1/8 of an inch layer there. And so if you don't do that, you might actually cover up the top portion of your heart. So there's that. Then we're going to take and use some glue, dimensionals. Those are not out of my adhesive caddy yet. All right, so I'm going to use a couple of the small ones on the back side of the love. Because this stays on the outside of the card, even when it's open, we can have, still have another backing. We can have this sticking up with dimensionals. I'm just going to put that right here, centered. And then we need our doily. And for our doily, I think the easiest way to adhere this is to get that silicone sheet, which I've been bringing into the camera here and there. But we're just going to put a little bit of glue up here. And then we're going to grab our basting brush tool. Here it is. So I've just taken one of those silicone basting brushes and trimmed off so they have a nice firm kind of multi-pokey little end here. All right, and you just pounce up and down and it creates this really awesome glue applicator tool that's easy to clean off later because it's silicone. So pouncing, getting glue on there, and then we can just keep the doily in place and pounce. Don't move that doily. And this way we're getting adhesive all over the back side without getting glue where we don't want it. We're going to move that off to the side. We'll add this into our place here in the middle of the card on the top. Looking at both the left and the right edges, both right and the left edges to see if I have the same amount. I've got 2 hearts at the top, 2 hearts at the bottom, 2 hearts at the sides. Okay, that's how I centered mine. Then for the jar, we're going to grab some dimensionals. This time I'll use the bigger dimensionals. And we're going to go a little bit beyond the top. So I'm just sticking a couple dimensionals up there. You can see them sticking out. Now we can put the jar top like that, the little lid on top of the jar, and it'll hold it. And then we can peel the backings off. We'll put a couple more dimensionals on the bottom. It's going to be a cute little Valentine, that's for sure. You could use it for Valentine's Day. You could use it for whatever. You could put, use those stamps to make a happy St. Patty's Day card, right? Or jelly beans just for celebrating, I don't know, a birthday or something. We'll put this in the middle like that. And then we've got our other 2 hearts. And because they're very, very tiny, let's go ahead and use our precision tip bottle, which has our glue in it. And we'll set one up here, and then we'll use another with a tiny dimensional. We'll just stick a tiny little dimensional back there. When you're working with tiny things, if your hands aren't real mobile, you could use a tweezers like this that you push to pull open and then you let go to hold it. And so you don't have to like hold. You just have to do that pressure the first time when you're grabbing something, and then you can move whatever you need to move. All right, and then the last for this card is the embellishing. So we'll bring out our rhinestones. I've got a couple sheets in here. And we'll use the take your pick tool. You do love it? I do too. I think it's been like, whenever that was shared with me, I think Martha shared that with me. I was just like, wow, that is so cool. So, not Martha, Marsha. All of a sudden I'm like, Martha? Where'd that name come from? Sorry about that, Marsha. Okay, and then we have another little doodad there. So I put a medium one here, a small one there, and then I've got a medium down here. And I think she saw it on a Gina K video. And I mean, that's what we do in the paper crafting world, right? We share with each other. So there is our finished little pocket slide out type of card. So a slide slide out pocket fun fold if you're creating a pocket. And here again, just find a matching gift card. And then the other card is this one here, and it slides out this way. So let's go ahead and put that together quickly. We have all the pieces ready to roll because we did those as we were doing the other parts. And I'm trying not to spill them on the floor. Okay, so for those, you're gonna need your base piece, which is half of a sheet of cardstock in the other direction. So it's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 1.5, so it's the same as initial score mark, and then 5 3/4 inches. And this time we're just gonna fold and fold because we have that extra silver edge that we're gonna do on this card too. So now I'm gonna show you how you don't really have to worry too much. There is a slight overlap, but that's okay because we want it to overlap anyways. Just know that we don't have to be super picky. Then we're gonna adhere this. So I need 5.5 inches of this. So we will cut that with our trimmer. And we'll put our tear and tape adhesive on here, which is right here. So this paper that I'm using, the True Blue Florals, it's all different blues, right? It's so pretty. But you saw how awesome it is with the pinks and the reds, and it's just stunning. It's really pretty paper. So where did I put that? Here it is. I want to tell you a little bit about that. That is special paper that you can get for $5. If you don't already have it, you want to place an order. Whoops, hang on. You want to place an order, a qualifying order, and then you can choose to get it. It's kind of like an addition to the Stampin' Rewards that you can earn. Like whenever you spend $20 with Stampin' Up, you get $2, $30, $3, $40. You get 10% of whatever you spend once you start at that minimum $20, right? So when you are collecting Stampin' Rewards, it's awesome, right? So if you place a $75 order, you've earned $7.50 in Stampin' Rewards. So something that you can apply to your orders later. But also at the $75 level, you can choose to add on the product of the month, and this is the product of the month. So I've got that piece on there. Let's go ahead and add our designer papers. Our designer paper pieces, I believe, oh, those are the ones that we needed to cut. So I've got my paper back here. We'll grab our trimmer. Pattern number 1 is going to be this one here, and we're going to cut that at 2.5. So 2.5 inches in this direction. And again, because this has all those vertical lines, you could take a peek and see if that's exactly where you want to cut or not, or you can shift it. And then our other direction is 5.5. Nope, 5 1/4. I lied. 5 1/4. And then we have that piece. And now pattern number 2 is going to be this one. And this one is going to be also 5 1/4 inches tall. Let's just cut in this direction now. 5 1/4. And you can start your initial cut whichever direction you want, right? But since we have to do 2 that are 5 1/4 inches tall, I thought I would cut the other way. So 1 3/8 is right here. And our next one is 2 5/8. There we go. Pieces are cut and ready. We're going to add them. So we'll flip them over and we'll add our adhesive. And just because I am used to seal, I'm going to go ahead and add seal adhesive to the back sides. This would be a pretty one too to use, this pattern. I tried to lay my doilies against all of the papers to see you know, which papers would be the best with this, because you don't want to have something really loud like this. I mean, if you look at this pattern, you can see the flowers coming through and kind of competing for the paper, right? So we didn't want something competing. Oh, and for this, we're actually going to add our doily. Silly, Rachel. Hang on, this is pattern number 1. I'm going to add that to my silicone sheet. I have a clean one here. Just going to add that there to keep it out of the way, because we're going to need to, actually I'm going to bring it back in. I'm going to put glue on the back side of this doily, and then we're going to flip it over and add it to this piece. So our silicone sheet comes in handy in that if you already put your adhesive on the back side of something, you can lay it against it and you can still peel it up. So let's grab our other silicone sheet that had our glue, add a little bit more glue to it. Pounce, 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 pounce. Okay, ready? Keeping that in the same spot, we're just gonna pounce. And you don't have to go all the way to the edges, but we wanna get that center portion down, and we don't want this thing moving, so you kind of need to have some room where your fingers can hold on to it too, right? So there's that. Flip it up, bring it over to this side, and we're gonna center it and lay it down. And I've already cut it in half with my trimmer tool. So there we go, that's ready. Yay. Phew. I dropped something on the floor. I don't know what it is. Oh, that's okay. All right, so here we go. Let's put this down onto the front side of our card with our white 1/8 inch edging all the way around like that. And then remember, this one's 1/8 of an inch longer because now we've extended this white portion. So now we have that 1/8 inch edging on the inside. And this is not going to go over here because that's going to get tucked down like a pocket. It's going to go on here, but it's going to go right up to the edge of that white piece. So we only have the white 1/8 inch edging on these 3 sides, just like our first card, okay? Next, we need our inside piece, and our inside piece can be I have 2 different options for you. Actually, we're going to trim this one. So this would be the pocket size. If you want to do a pocket, this is the size that you would need. And I'm going to tell you those measurements. They're not on the sheet because I believe that this side open kind of fun fold doesn't work too well with gift cards in that they're just going to fall anyways. But if you do want to make a pocket, because let's say you're turning your card in this direction to make your card, right? And you want to have that pocket. The measurements are 5 1/4 inches long by 4 1/4. Okay, so 5 1/4 by 4 1/4, scored at 3/8 and scored again at 4. We're just going to trim at this 4 inch mark. So I'm going to add this in here like that and trim that off. See, there's bonuses to watching the video. You don't get it all in a blog post or on a PDF sheet. Now we can add this to the inside. We're going to use tear and tape along this scored section here. Tear and tape is just that. You just peel it off and you tear it. It's so amazing. So let's say I had painted fingernails. You could use the take your pick tool to get under there. You could use your snips to get under there. But I have very thin fingernails, so I just get under there with my fingernails. We're going to flatten it down, okay? So it's not folded back, it's flattened down, and it's going right into that crease, like our other card. You're going to press this down in place, and now we've got that pulling action. It's going to slide it out. 3/4 of an inch difference there. Isn't that cool? Now what I did, and I'm going to do that with this card too, is I actually kept everything glued down and then I stamped this inside layer. But this is stamped, so I'm going to show you how I did that. So with it open, all the way open, I am able to see how far to go with my heart. So I'm going to use the bubble bath, and I'm bringing in those stamps again, and we're going to use 2 stamps in this card, this heart and this heart, these little combos of hearts. We're also using the word sweetness. And I'm just going to have to use the back side of this. So we'll flip it over. Now we have our hearts mounted to the other side of our other block we just used. And I'll show you what I did. I kept it all the way open. Now it's all the way open. I'm inking up my hearts. And I'm going to stamp those right up in here. When you slide it back, they disappear. It's pretty cool, right? The other hearts that I did there, I did like let's just grab this guy and mount some hearts in there. You can see them right there. Ink it up. And I just did kind of a little trail, I believe, like this. So then I just started trailing them into the card as if they were kind of floating. Where did I put this one? Kind of like that. And then the last two. So I went back and forth on these, and I added one more set of hearts. So we got these trailing hearts going on here. And what I wanted to do was have them look like they're coming out of an opening jar. So for this jar, I have it sitting here back to back with this jar. This jar is going to determine where this jar goes though, because this one is going to be centered in the doily somewhat. So let's do that same thing where we took our dimensionals. They're on the floor. That's what fell down here. All right, got them. We're going to take our dimensionals and we're going to put one here, one here. This one might be a little too high. We'll find out. And then we have the cover. Here it is. Cover for our jar, the lid. Oh, that worked. And then we'll grab two more. Actually, no, this is where we got to be careful. So we've got two dimensionals up here, and they are going to stay within this zone. But you see how the jar kind of sticks out down here? We want to make sure that we are not putting our dimensionals over on this side. So I'm going to stick two more, and I'll just go ahead and stick them close together like these. Because now we have four legs on the table. It's holding it up. That's going to get stuck down here. I'm using the jar lid right here as kind of a guide to make sure I don't go beyond. Now when I open it up, I can add this jar, making sure I'm not putting adhesive on that side. I'm going to make this jar go on the inside flat like that. And then we have a second lid, and I'm just going to glue that right here. Oops, sorry. I'm going to glue that like right here with my glue. And it looks like the hearts have been released from the jar, right? So my sweetness stamp, same thing. I'm going to stamp that down, and I'm stamping that with a coordinating color. This is Night of Navy, but the lighter version of that is very close to Misty Moonlight. So I'm using Misty Moonlight for my ink for my words. And I'm going to stamp sweetness on the inside of my card. Right there. Sweetness. And on the outside of the card, I believe what I did is I just put a bunch of rhinestones and I stuck on those extra hearts that we punched out. I think I put them down here actually. A couple different hearts and rhinestones. And I might have even centered the jar better, but let's take a peek at that now. And this is what you're going to get for your second card. So again, I put a rhinestone on the jar top, a couple of rhinestones down here with the hearts. And when you open it up, it looks like your hearts are falling, you know, kind of floating outside of your card. Super fun. Do you like that? I hope so. I'm going to do some shifting once I stop the video, but we're going to close up these ink pads because I have a feeling with how messy my desk is right now that we're going to get something inked up accidentally. So I'm going to bring those two cards back in so you can take a peek at them. Here they are finished. And again, the inspiration is this card here. Yay. Thank you so much again, Joanne Ryder, because that request from a viewer made me convert this card and made me come up with, oops, that's not the finished one. Here's the finished one. So now we have a couple fun Valentines. In our area of Minnesota, it's still wintry during Valentine's Day. So this is totally appropriate for that, even though it looks like more of a Christmassy card. But there's our two finished cards. When you place an order for products from Stampin' Up, you can definitely order through me if you'd like to, but if you are a demonstrator, please order from yourself. Or if you have a demonstrator, order from them, show the love. Just know that this paper, this designer paper here, no matter if you're a demonstrator, you're someone else's customer, or you're my customer, you can get this one per person during the month of December with a qualifying order. That qualifying order in the US is $75 first, and then you can add that on for $5. You like them? Yeah, which one do you guys like better? That would be fun to ask. And then of course you can also do like the white version of the doily, flip it over, right? Make it different. You could use it even with the blue paper and do like green and blue for those cute little, I'm going to show you those again. There's little shamrocks. You could do jelly beans, any color jelly beans for, you know, some kind of party or whatever. We've also got this coordinating stamp set, so you could turn it into a Christmas card or just a winter birthday or something. All right, back to what I was sharing. Also, if you place a $75 order through me, you get, well, if you place a $50 order through me, you get a link to my All-Star video tutorial bundle, the All-Star group that I team up with every month. We are featuring the Hobby Haven suite this month, so you would get a link to that bundle of tutorial videos. And then you get a loyalty point. So there's all kinds of goodness. You get the Stampin' Rewards, you get the loyalty point, you get the All-Star video link, and then if again it's $75, you get the you get to add on the product of the month, which is this beautiful paper right now. That's it. I think I announced everything. The red catches your eye the most. Yeah, see, this one's more subtle, more soft. The red is like, boom. Both? You like them both? Oh, you guys are so sweet. Thank you. So announcements, we have upcoming lives. And again, things are shifting a little bit because of the holidays coming. So I will do a live this Friday, but this Friday has been set aside for my YouTube members at the supporting level only. So if you're one of my art supporters, you can tune in. There's already a little live link ready to go for that live. And we're doing a requested card. One of the YouTube supporting members requested that I take one of Sam Caldicott's cards, you know who she is from Mixed Up Crafts, and I alter it to fit our A2 size card size, right? The ones that fit into these envelopes here. So 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. It will flatten down and fit in this card. I've done it. I finally had the time to do that. And so we're going to be sharing that on Friday night of this week on December 19th. And then next week, because it's so close to Christmas and I have family coming in, I'm going to do my live on Tuesday morning instead of Wednesday morning at 11 a.m. Central Time. We're going to do paper pumpkin alternates. And then on Saturday, we're pushing it back to Saturday instead of Friday, because again, I've got family in town. We're going to do a kits collection alternates. So it's going to be kits next week. I hope you like that. We'll do Tuesday again, and then we'll do, I believe it's Friday the following time. So, all right. If you need to check out the calendar, just click on the link that's in the description of the video. I have a calendar link there, and you can go ahead and which birthday? Oh, Marsha's. Yay, happy birthday, Marsha. It's also Trisha's birthday this month, by the way. So everybody say happy birthday to Trisha. She's a December baby. And yay. All right, so back to the calendar. If you want to refer to that anytime, that is my most up-to-date calendar for my lives. Always check that out. And if you want to become a member of my YouTube channel, you can definitely do that. You just go to my channel and there's like a little link for membership, and there should be a link in the description of the video too about becoming a member. So I appreciate all of you. Is somebody sharing a site? Trisha's asking Linda Crawford to share something. Linda, I'm glad you're watching too. I miss you. So many familiar names. I love it, you guys. Thank you for chiming in, because even though I know some of you watch it on like TV or whatever, or you know, you can't necessarily comment during the live, it's nice to know that you're watching, whether you message me after or whether you message me during the live. It's so fun to see your names pop up. So I wish you all happy holidays. Thank you again, Trisha. Thank you to those of you that are new. I hope that you enjoyed what I shared. This was a little slightly more advanced video. When you watch my kit videos or some of my other videos, I walk step by step through the whole process of cutting a lot of card-based pieces too. And hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you gained some creative ideas. But I wanted to share both of these cards in just a little bit of time. Take care, everybody. That is it. So now I'd like you all to go and stamp your art out. Bye-bye.